The $5 million inheritance left by my father-in-law will be managed entirely by us, the couple. Also, I've decided to cut ties with my mother-in-law.
Well, if that's how it is. Mom, don't take it personally.
During my husband's funeral, my son and daughter-in-law suddenly made this announcement. Honestly, it's not the right time for such discussions. They stood there in front of all the relatives, looking smug. I couldn't help but feel exasperated. Wait, you're cutting ties? Are you sure that's a good idea?
Of course it is. That's why I said it.
Understood. If that's what you want. Upon hearing my response, my son and daughter-in-law left the funeral venue in high spirits, even though the funeral was still ongoing. But I won't remain silent. For now, let them enjoy themselves. I'll make sure they experience their own version of hell. My name is Lillian. After graduating from university, I joined a major bank. Although my primary role was receptionist, I met my husband, who worked in sales, and we got married after 3 years of dating. Thanks to the bank's reputation, my husband's income was substantial, so I retired early and became a full-time homemaker, supporting him.
Isn't he independent yet? He's almost 40 now.
My husband's complaints were never about work. He always centered around our only son, Justin. I know, right? Considering the good job he landed, he shouldn't be struggling financially if he puts in the effort. Justin spent his middle and high school years getting into trouble, often requiring police intervention. I wondered if my parenting had gone wrong.
Despite managing to secure a job through our acquaintance, it seems his performance isn't great.
My husband had pulled strings to get Justin employed at a major securities firm, but lately, his bad attitude had relegated him to menial tasks. The company could easily offer a 6-figure salary for regular work, yet Justin was earning only around $30,000. As a result, he frequently came to our house, borrowing money from my husband.
Hey, sorry, but I'm in a tight spot again this month. Can you lend me $1,000?
Enough already. Isn't it because you don't work properly?
Despite saying that, my husband always ended up lending money to our son. Fortunately, due to my husband's earnings during his banking days and our multiple real estate properties, we've never faced financial difficulties. However, I couldn't help but worry about Justin's nonchalant attitude. How does he plan to survive after we're gone? One day, after living like this for a while,
I've met someone I want to marry.
Out of the blue, Justin revealed this news. Finally, maybe now he'll start living responsibly. My husband and I were genuinely thrilled about Justin's marriage. We expected to meet his partner during the introduction, but when we finally did, she had a flashy appearance and lacked manners.
Nice to meet you. I'm Abby.
Nice to meet you too. Please take care of Justin.
No need to say that. Leave it to me.
Can this person be trusted after marrying into our family?
Isn't she great? We met at a bar. Can you believe she's even 30?
Enough, Justin. Let's not talk about age.
The two of them were completely absorbed in each other, disregarding us. Although I worried about the future, if they got along well, perhaps that would be enough. Eventually, that's what I decided. They promptly registered their marriage. However, they couldn't afford a wedding ceremony, so they planned to save up before having one. At least now, Justin wouldn't keep asking for money. Or so I thought, until
We're expecting a child.
A month later, Justin and Abby came to our house and dropped that bombshell. Having a grandchild is a joyous occasion, but I couldn't shake my anxiety about more financial requests. Unfortunately, my fears were soon confirmed.
Lately, he's been asking for money again, saying it's for the child.
What?
He claims the child will need money, and I can't refuse when he brings up the baby.
Oh, no. It seems Justin's behavior won't change even after marriage. But perhaps becoming a parent will transform him. My husband and I continue to endure, hoping for the best. As time passed, Abby gave birth to a baby boy.
I wanted to show him to Mom and Dad. Here he is, your first grandchild. Isn't he adorable?
Let's make sure your parents dote on him too.
Certainly, a grandchild is adorable, but Justin and Abby seem to view us as their personal ATM. Every time they opened their mouths, it was about expensive diapers or high milk costs, always revolving around money.
If you tell Mom and Dad, they'll buy whatever you want. When you grow up, you'll get all sorts of things.
Justin was saying this to the child. While we wanted to provide assistance when possible, we couldn't keep giving money every time. Besides, my husband retired last month, and we need to save for our own retirement. I understand your feelings. When Justin was born, I remember the financial strain. But now that your father has retired, and we have our own future to consider, perhaps providing support within reason is a good approach. As I addressed Justin and Abby, Abby's expression turned visibly sour. She then glared at me and retorted,
You do have money, right? Don't you find your grandchild adorable? I'm not asking for tens of thousands of dollars, so what's the problem?
But my husband has been lending Justin around $1,000 every month. Can't you manage with that?
That's a separate matter. Anyway, please take proper care of this child.
Exactly. Listen to Abby. Oh, by the way, make sure you write in your will that you'll leave the entire inheritance to us. Mom and Dad aren't getting any younger.
What are you talking about? Haven't you received enough money from us?
It's never enough. Well, that's how it is. Take care.
Although my husband retired, he still owns assets, around $50,000 from real estate and savings. But if we let those two run rampant, who knows how much they'll take? We need to address this soon. After Justin and Abby left, I pondered how to handle the situation. Perhaps sensing my anxiety,
Don't worry. We won't let them inherit the estate.
his words brought some relief. The next morning, I woke up early. My husband usually enjoyed coffee and read the newspaper in the living room, but he wasn't there. Was he tired? Well, I'd better wake him up. I headed upstairs to our bedroom and entered, calling out, Hey, it's unusual for you to still be asleep today. Huh? In the bedroom, my husband lay there, his face pale and unmoving.
What's wrong? Wake up!
As I touched my husband's body, it felt cold. At that moment, I knew he had passed away, but I didn't want to believe it. I hurriedly called an ambulance and had him taken to the hospital. Please, let this be a joke. In the ambulance, I kept praying, but upon arriving at the hospital, the doctor pronounced him dead. The cause was acute cerebral infarction, stroke. I don't remember much about how I got back home afterward. There was no time to grieve, I had to coordinate with the funeral company and set the date for the service. And then came the day of the funeral. My husband, who had been well liked during his banking days, had many attendees. As the funeral progressed, when it was time for me, as the chief mourner, to give my closing remarks, Justin and Abby suddenly stood up, took the microphone from me, and began speaking.
Well, can you all hear me? Since there are many relatives here, we have an announcement to make.
What? An announcement? This isn't the right time for that. Wait a minute. What are you saying without permission?
Shut up. We'll be done soon.
Justin handed the microphone to Abby. She took out a piece of paper from her bag.
Can everyone see this paper? It's the will his father left behind. Let me read it. All my assets are to be inherited by my son, Justin, and his wife, Abby. So, we'll be inheriting the entire $5 million estate.
Neither I nor the other relatives fully comprehended what was happening. My husband writing such a thing on his own was unimaginable. The funeral hall buzzed with confusion.
Now, everyone, calm down. Also, we've decided to cut ties with my mother-in-law, Lillian.
Cut ties? Between the inheritance talk and this, what is she getting so excited about? Cut ties? Are you serious? Is that really okay?
I'm dead serious. Besides, I heard from my father-in-law himself that you'd been freely spending the money he worked hard to earn. I don't want any further relationship with someone like that, and I certainly won't let you inherit anything.
I've never done anything like this before. To lie and try to take away our money. Fine then. If that's what you want, I'll grant your wish and cut ties. Very well then. I understand. I'll cut ties with you. Additionally, I renounce my inheritance entirely. You can have the house too. Is that acceptable? My declaration caused further commotion among the relatives. However, my anger had reached its peak, and I hardly noticed their reactions.
Hey! Did you hear that, Abby? Now we can live freely without any constraints. Maybe we'll start with a trip abroad.
Justin and Abby left the funeral hall, celebrating and reveling. But their joy would be short-lived. I'll make sure to show them hell. Aside from Justin and Abby's disruption, the funeral proceeded without incident. When I returned home and began packing to leave, Justin stopped me.
Mom, don't bother coming back.
Well, of course, that's my intention. And you too, please stop relying on me.
We won't need to. You're penniless and no longer useful. Abby, right?
Exactly. Since we were after my father-in-law's inheritance from the start, we don't need you around.
These two really underestimate me. Talking to them infuriates me beyond measure. Ignoring them, I continued packing my belongings in my room and my husband's room. As I did, I noticed an envelope in one of the desk drawers. What's this? Upon opening the envelope, I found my husband's handwriting, a will. What on earth does this mean? I wondered. Nevertheless, I decided to keep it safe and put it in my bag. Since we probably won't meet again, I said as I confidently left the house. However, I had nowhere to go. I couldn't keep living in hotels forever. To find a permanent place, I visited the real estate agency I usually dealt with and signed a lease for an apartment. A week later, I transitioned from hotel living to apartment life. The room was smaller and far from luxurious, but the rent was affordable for a single person. Well, it's almost the end of the month, so I wonder if those people are making a fuss. As I relaxed in my apartment, Justin's expected call came. Despite all their bluster, they still managed to call me. Reluctantly, I answered the phone. Hello? Even though we've cut ties, you're still calling. So, what do you want?
Why is my money suddenly disappearing like this? You did something, didn't you?
What are you talking about? I haven't done anything.
Don't play dumb. Thousands of dollars were suddenly withdrawn, and my account is empty. Where are you now? Come explain.
Justin yelled at me and abruptly hung up. How clueless can he be? Sure, my husband owned a lot of real estate, but did he think it was all cash? Well, I might as well tell those two the truth. I left the apartment and headed back to our original home.
Hey, come on up.
When I arrived at the house and rang the intercom, Justin, with an unfriendly expression, answered. Before entering the house, I noticed a luxury car parked in the garage. Are they really wasting money like this? I was thoroughly exasperated. So? Why did you bother calling me out? What explanation do you want?
Look at this.
He showed me his bank account. Several withdrawals, each in increments of $10,000, were listed.
You tampered with the bank, didn't you?
Exactly. Even though we have the will.
They were convinced I was the villain. How foolish. You know, do you really think your father, who was just a bank employee, bought all that real estate with cash? Yes, when you add it all up, it's a $5 million estate, but that's only if we sell the properties. Even after saying this, they still looked bewildered. Still don't get it? All this money is being deducted from the bank. It's all debt. Understand? Finally, Justin seemed to grasp it.
What the? You should have told us beforehand.
There was no reason to. After all, you two inherited everything from your father, right? Well, there's still rental income, so it won't go negative if you manage it normally.
Yeah, but we bought a car this month and went on a trip, so we're broke. Can you help us out a bit?
At that moment, I slapped Justin across the face. How self-centered can he be? He never even considered my feelings.
Enough is enough. You said it yourselves, didn't you? According to the will, I've transferred the inheritance rights to you. So, isn't it normal for you to inherit all the debts too? You're not kids anymore, so don't rely on your parents forever.
Justin, who had just received a slap and was yelled at by me, covered his face in shock. Until now, I had never used violence against Justin, and he probably never expected to be physically confronted. Watching our exchange, Abby, Justin's wife, started making a fuss.
What are you doing? Justin, are you okay? This is violence. I'll report it to the police for assault.
Thank you for mentioning the police. As if I had been waiting for this moment, I pulled out the genuine will. The police? I don't mind at all. But first, take a look at this. Do you recognize it?
What's that envelope?
This is the authentic will left by my husband. Justin and Abby both turned pale and froze on the spot. They must have thought it was impossible for the real will to surface. After all, they had forged a fake one. Their expressions said it all.
What are you talking about? The will was handed to me directly by my father-in-law.
Then show it to me. I confronted Justin and Abby, who reluctantly handed over the forged will. When I compared it to the real one, the difference was clear. As I suspected, this is a fake. Abby, this is a serious crime. Are you ready to go to the police for document forgery?
No, well, that's...
Despite just having a baby, what are you planning to do now? I'm not asking you to return the inheritance rights, but it's only fair that you inherit all the debts. You're not going to keep relying on your parents forever, are you? I spat out these words and left their house. This time, I was sure I wouldn't return. In the end, I didn't report the fake will to the police. The debts were already overwhelming, and I didn't want them to increase further. Justin called me later, revealing that he had sold the real estate in a panic to keep up with the loan repayments. Unfortunately, its value had dropped significantly, and he was still struggling with debt. Abby divorced Justin, and although she tried to claim alimony, her reckless spending during their marriage worked against her. The custody of their child went to Abby, but the real victim was the child. Growing up without knowing their biological father's face, it's truly heartbreaking. As for Justin and Abby, I no longer cared. But I sincerely hope that their child will find happiness. With that wish in my heart, I plan to spend my remaining years in peace.
How did you like this story? If you enjoyed it, consider subscribing to my channel. Until next time.